Let's do cornerbacks first. What you got?
My highest grade.
Really?
My
All
highest
right.
grade.
Okay.
I went with an A.
Cool. I like it.
And that should be music. That should be music to people's ears that have followed West Virginia football over the last however many years.
Unless you think we're dumb, and then you'll say, "No, man, they were screwed."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not a talent evaluator. To me, this was an area that there's a complete roster turnover. Right? We've talked about it ad nauseum. But you just felt like this was a point where Rich Rodriguez and then Zach Alley just felt like they had to address, right? Um, and they got two really, really, really good ones, Michael Coach Jr. and Jordan Scruggs, because these guys were two of the highest graded PFF, which you and I,
Mm-hmm.
probably you more than me, put a lot of stock into what they say and how they evaluate players. And I'm right up there close to you. Um, they were, I think, tied for first and third or second on the PFF preseason returning Big 12 corners. I mean, preseason All Big 12 for Phil Steele, Michael Coates was. Really good 13 games, led the team in passes defended, 17, 4 interceptions. He had 41 tackles, so he's not afraid to mix it up. Scruggs comes up from South Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
started 9 games, almost 70 tackles, 33 of those unassisted. And then you get into even guys like Devontae Golden Nelson, who maybe didn't have the success intercepting the football, but he experienced, right? 12
Right.
games, 33 tackles, a Ty Cruncher out of West Florida, somebody they felt like they snuck in here kind of late. There's a lot to like in this group, a lot to like. So I win A.
I like it. And then
It's
you add
not
it.
all doom and gloom over here
That's right.
at
Now,
the
and,
Martin
and, and then you
household.
add in freshman additions like Shamarius Bomar, who I like, Dwayne Galloway, who I like.
Yeah.
I like the sophomores of or the Keyshawn Robinson, a West Virginia kid who was part of Neal Brown's roster a year ago.
Jason Chambers,
Yep.
Appalachian State, who comes over with the new corners coach. So
Correct.
the connection there.
Yep.
There's a lot to like, Couz,
Yeah.
about this group.
And I didn't go A, but I did go B. Again, Michael Coach Jr., Phil Steele preseason first team All Big 12. Just, I mean, you read out his numbers. They speak for themselves. Really good football player. You mentioned Chambers. You mentioned all those guys, and I really like those guys. I like the mix of experience with young talent,
Yeah.
and I like the way they balanced it out. I think they'll be able to play man or zone, which I like. And I just really like that room. So I'm going. It's not my highest graded. Still not giving him an A like I did the running back room, but I will go with a B for that room.
Okay. And completely fair. There, again, I'm just over and over here, but there's a lot of like there. There's a lot of size.
Yeah.
Um, there's physicality. There's speed. Um,
My fear is I think I've been bitten a couple times.
right.
I mean, we thought last year a couple of guys that came over were going to be really good and they weren't.
Yeah.
So does that happen
But,
again? Or, I don't know.
but in fairness, you had some guys that were productive coming, and I this is where I'm probably giving a little bit of leap of faith with Zach Alley here.
Yeah. And
And
that's
again,
fair.
I know he's not coaching safeties in particular. I know he's not coaching cornerbacks in particular, but he's overseeing the guys that evaluated him, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a little bit leaning on him here for this. And spoiler alert, I feel really good about, to be quite honest with you, the entire defensive secondary. I really do.
So where you got, speaking of which, where you got the safeties at?
So I went with an A again.
Wow. Okay.
And there's a couple reasons why. Let me start here. I am really excited about Fred Perry and Derek Carter as players, and I'm excited about them coming over from Jacksonville State.
Okay.
Um, these are just guys that know majority of the staff, right? They're going to know what's been implemented to a degree. There could be a little bit of a change up here with Allie, but they've got a pretty good idea, right? Um, that gives me a lot of positivity. Jordan Walker out of Chattanooga, Couz, is a player.
Yeah.
That young man is an absolute player. Darian Lewis from Akron, who
Yep.
played with Devontae Golden Nelson, was extremely much like Golden Nelson, was extremely experienced and proficient at Akron. I like that. And then I like what they did with, say, Zay Jennings back again.
Yep.
Tarnu is back.
Yep. Playing it,
Um,
and if I'm not mistaken, he'll be going back to playing his natural position.
yeah. If this group, if Justin Harrington is eligible, this is my highest graded group. I would go A+.
I'm really high on Harrington, man. I
Me
really
me me too. Me
the guy
too.
was a starter at Oklahoma until he got injured.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their first year in the SEC. You don't under Brent Venables. I mean, what's that tell you?
He can play.
He's 6'3", 217. He's also going to be like 25 years old. He's a grown man out there, and they need that. That could go a long way. Again, this is all based on him being eligible. So I like that room as well. I didn't quite go as high as you did. I'm going with a B here. I do like the fact that will be at safety. I like the fact he's coming back. He has the benefit of not only knowing what Rich Rod expects, but also knowing the ins and outs of playing at West Virginia, right? So he's best of both worlds because he was on the roster last year. I love Harrington. Derek Carter, I think, is an underrated player. I think Israel Boyce is another one who we saw some flashes of last year as a freshman. We heard
Yeah.
Neal Brown talk highly of him. We've heard other people talk highly of him. I think he's got the potential to be a really good player as a sophomore. You mentioned Zay Jennings.
Coos, how about
And
William Davis from Virginia Union? Going to be a senior next year.
yeah,
56 tackles last year, 11 and a half tackles for loss. And this goes back to what I've said a couple times. So when I'm looking at position groups, if that's not the sole guy that I'm dependent on, right? And I'm just, if I strike gold, that's just cherry on top, right?
yep,
Because I feel like versus if I'm looking at, and it's no disrespect to Davis, I'm just using that for illustration. If that's the guy that I'm saying, all right, he's my number one, I'm saying, how does Virginia Union translate to Big 12 football to this level? But if I'm throwing him out there with some of these other guys that we've talked about, I'm so much more comfortable. Um, there's so much again to like about this group because of the totality of it, the experience of it, and the icing on the cake being some of these guys that played at maybe some lower level schools that were productive.
mm-hmm.
Now they get to see how they compare against some of these guys. So yeah, cornerbacks and safeties, I really really like.
So it sounds like you like the defense because you gave the linebackers a high score.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I really like what they did because I felt like the productivity was a little bit more, right?
yeah,
A little bit more. Defensive line, I'm a little concerned about, but
right.
linebackers back,
You like.
I feel like they just address so much experience and productivity, and mixed it all well.
Yep, I like it.